There is something strange in the neighborhood, everyone. Who are you going to call, Jamie? Who are you going to call?
Not me, because I haven't got it yet.
Ghostbusters Spirits Unleashed. Sarah, you and I both have it. We have managed to... Actually, no, we haven't managed to play together, but you played with our friend Dan, and I've been playing a little bit with Dan as well. We have yet to actually get the three of us or a full stack of Busters together, but we have been playing a lot of it. And obviously it's out on every single platform: PC, PlayStation, Xbox, not Switch. Sadly, I don't think it will ever come to Switch, but you never say never. You never know. It would be pretty cool. I'm guessing it's probably available on the Valve Steam Deck as well because of the PC kind of connection. But it's on the Epic Games Store partnership at the moment, I believe. Anyway, enough about that. This is hands down the greatest Ghostbusters game, finally, that we have to play, and it is so good. For the longest time, I thought, okay, we have hit a peak with Luigi's Mansion 3. That is the pinnacle of Ghostbuster games, and it's an exclusive to the Nintendo Switch, and it is phenomenal. And I've actually seen some memes and stuff like that and images online of people who have actually created their Ghostbuster to look like Luigi. And
Nice.
then the Ghostbusters social team of like, I believe you have previous experience in hunting ghosts. You are welcome to join our game, kind of thing. It looks fantastic. But Sarah, Ghostbusters, how are you finding this game, and how big a fan are you of the classic movies?
Oh, I love Ghostbusters. What an amazing franchise. I mean, and the game is so good. Like, there was this moment where you sort of first pick up your you put your pack on and everything, and they're like, hey, are you gonna have a go at just shooting this weapon at these little ghost target practice kind of things. And I was like, I said out loud, this is fucking cool. And then the VA said, this is fucking cool. And I was like, stop! You're in my head. You feel like a
Amazing.
total badass shooting up the ghosties. It's very cool. And I love the kind of the style of the animation that they've gone for as well. Super cool.
Yeah.
And character customization. Everybody loves character customization. You tweeted a pic of yours, Ross, and I haven't responded with mine yet. But naturally, I made it look as much like me as possible because I love doing that. But like, imagine
Awesome.
if I had hair that defied gravity. It's like this kind of massive, kind of the 80s voluminous kind of white shock of hair. Yeah, it's awesome.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Amazing.
it's super
It's
cool.
so good.
I
The
don't want to
sound
give away too
effects,
much, but
I know.
it's so good.
How they nailed the sound effects. Clearly, the developers, Elphonic, are mega fans. They must have grown up with the series just like we did, and this is the childhood dream of strapping on a proton pack, getting your boiler outfit on with your little name patch.
Yeah.
And what is cool is that it will automatically populate whatever your gamer tag ID is. That's your little name patch on your boiler suit. And it's so good. And you can be a purist and go for the tan boiler suit, or you can change the color to like reds or blues or greens. And yeah, as Sarah says, the customization, I've managed to get mine looking almost identical to myself in real life. It is scary how it's like this. If you were to Ghostbuster yourself with a bit of a Fortnite kind of or Disney kind of aesthetic to it, like this is the most perfect avatar I think I've ever had in any game without spending, I guess, like crazy hours molding the nose and eyebrows and things like that. It's like the preset was close enough, and then you add the beard, you add the bald hair, the glasses. Like this is a dead ringer. And even the Ghostbuster official tweet replied to say it's like that's like the most perfect like but one like comparison shot ever that we've ever seen. It was awesome. And that tutorial, when you first fire your proton blaster, it has that uncontrollable kind of jerkiness from from the movies, and it fires out the kind of the wavy beam with this sound effect is bang on from the movies, and then you start scorching stuff because you haven't quite hit your target. So if you hit the wall and then drag the beam across to the target, it will leave scorch marks like it does in the
Yeah.
movies. It's that kind of detail. It's amazing. And then of course you can customize the backpack and the actual beam thrower to boost stats, and it might be better. It won't overheat as fast, or you'll have better control. And there's all this customization stuff. And the best thing for me is that Dan Aykroyd is actually in
Yeah.
the game
Yeah.
as well, and
Mhm.
and Ernie Hudson's in the
Yeah.
game as well as voice actors and characters, and you're thinking, fucking yes, they fucking did it, motherfuckers, they did it, it's so good.
That
They
first
did
time,
such, yeah.
no, the second time where you're talking to Dan Aykroyd's character in his little occult bookshop, and I was
Yeah.
like, who the hell wrote this? This is absolutely spot on, like, to his character and everything that they built in the franchise. And again, not wanting to give too many spoilers away, but what you then get to do after the thing that he brings into the shop, and then you open this book that he's bought. I was like, oh, I didn't know I was going to be able to do this as well. This is fucking cool. Oh man, you need to get
Yeah.
it, Jamie. Come play.
I do.
Come and play.
I
Yeah,
know.
yeah. So it's not a secret or spoiling anything to let listeners know that the thing that Sarah's talking about is you get to control a ghost. It's a 5-player 4v1 asymmetric multiplayer game, or you can just go against bots or whatever. So you can have 4 friends that are just the Ghostbusters, and then a rando or a bot can be the ghost. Or I did one of our friends, Ryan and Dan. They were Ghostbusters with 2 bots in the game that we were playing last night, and I said, guys, I'm gonna be the ghost and just fuck with you for a little bit just to see what it's like. And I'm not kidding. It was so much fun of me just going in the environment trying to hide from them. And Jamie, you can possess things, objects in the environment, right? So I had possessed an arcade machine, and it was standing next to another arcade machine, but there's the ability to haunt stuff, haunt objects, and you have a haunt meter that once the whole arena is 100% haunted, the ghost wins. It's hard to do, but you do that by haunting objects, and those objects will start like either floating around or rolling across the floor, or if it's a bunch of papers, they'll fly off the shelves and things like that, just like from the movies, and that will fuck with the Ghostbusters because they're thinking, oh, that's the ghost. So I did that to this other arcade system that is next to me, and I'm a possessed one, and it started to kind of rock and move out, and then they just attacked it because they thought it was me, and we're on a Discord chat as well, so they can hear me fucking giggling like crazy, and it was so funny. And then I managed to get away and just start possessing and messing with because there's civilians in the environment as well.
Oh yeah.
And they have a happiness meter. Like if they're terrified, then that will go against the Ghostbusters, but it's in favor of the ghost, obviously. So if you're a Ghostbuster, you have to calm them down, and it's like a little mini game of a dial that has to fill up, and then there's little, if you hit the trigger at various points in this little counter dial that's filling up, you'll get support bonuses. It's not imperative that you get these. If you miss them, it's not a big deal, but it turns them from being scared to like calm and then happy. So you have to kind of micromanage the civilians within the area as well. But then the ghost can be terrorizing them at the same time and possessing things in the environment and gradually just filling the whole arena with ectoplasm and making it fully haunted and spawning little minion ghosts and things like that as well. And so there's that side of it for the person who's playing the ghost. And it was so much fun. I obviously prefer to be as the Ghostbuster, but just that little taste, that couple of matches we played where I was the ghost and I was laughing my ass off because they couldn't get me for the longest time. and they did eventually get me, obviously. They teamed up with me, but they threw the trap down, opened the trap, I got sucked into it, but I was fucking laughing like crazy the whole way. It was so much fun.
It's
What
brilliant.
a game!
It's so brilliant. I would definitely recommend it. If you've played anything like the Evil Dead multiplayer game that came out earlier this year, it's a similar kind of vibe to that, but like way more fun, like way more like classic 80s Ghostbusters vibes, like perky and fun and silly and clever. And the voice of the spirit, the evil spirit guide who helps the ghost, Raul Coley, is awesome as well. He is incredible in it. But yeah, I can't wait to play more of it. Online multiplayer games with friends, it's great. Let's do it.
Yeah, and it's crossplay, and we have been struggling
Yeah.
a little bit to get the crossplay working, but we finally got it working and got the accounts all hooked up and everything like that, and accounts linked. But so Wadey was on Dan, our friend. He was on PC. Sarah's obviously on PS5, and I'm on Xbox. So once you eventually get your Epic account linked up and connect, which seems to be really hit and miss at the moment. They'll iron that out eventually, but it really is. It's actually a bigger problem to get the game linked to your Epic account. It just spins for ages, and then I had to do a lot of kind of loophole jumping of, okay, I need to go into my Epic account, unlink it, and then try and relink it directly from the game. And it was a bit of a headache. I know they'll sort that stuff out, but once it was done, it was just fantastic. And we did the Discord chat because that was just so easy. The in-game chat is really weird. Is proximity based. So if you're away from the other Ghostbusters, you can barely hear them. So that needs to get just overhauled and
it's not
addressed,
great.
and just make it. That's not great.
Some of the maps are quite big, so
and the maps are quite big, exactly. So we just jumped on a Discord call, all of us. And at the moment, anyway, that's fantastic for Xbox players because you can just transfer the Discord call straight to your console. I believe that is coming early next year for PlayStation, the Discord integration. Once they nail that, there's absolutely no issues with cross-platform multiplayer chat. But it's so good at the moment. I just they've just nailed it. The only thing I would maybe quibble about at the moment, even at this stage, it's only been out a week. I'm thinking, okay, this is great. I'm working through these. It's like 7 environments or 7 mission kind of environments. I'm hoping that there's more coming or there's more to unlock because I'm a little bit worried. It's like, okay, the game's been out a week. Is this all the content there is? I hope there's a lot more. Whether it's just a progression thing, I just need to unlock more to discover it. But I'm worried that, okay, there's only 8 environments and you're just going to be cycling those over and over. It's still a riot with your friends, of course, but that could get stale very, very quickly. And you need that extra environment variety. And maybe there are bigger environments that they're working on and going to be putting out in a timely fashion. But I'm just worried that will they get them out fast enough to hold that audience that is clearly already loving the game. And like, this is the Ghostbusters experience that we've been wanting for ages. And I was looking a little bit into the history, the background of Elphonic. I didn't realize that they were the developers behind Friday the 13th, asymmetric multiplayer game, and also the Predator Hunting Grounds video game as well. And they did support on, I don't know if it was support on the Evil Dead, but they definitely did support on Evolve, which is unfortunately was one of the best and one of the first asymmetric multiplayer games, and makes me sadly lament the demise of that game, because had that game been handled better, been marketed better, and had it been come out today as a proposition, I think it would have been an absolute, pardon the pun, but a monster of a title, because that was such an original game and a different take on multiplayer at the time. But Ghostbusters did.
I'm bumping it up the list. I will get it. But I love asymmetric multiplayer titles. I loved Evolve. I've actually, you can just about see it in the camera, but I've got the class badge, pin badge set from Evolve from one of the Eurogamers, which is back there, because I loved that game. I love the notion of having a squad going against, a big bad, but the big bad is also a player. There's a lot of fun to be had there. And there's various games that have been doing it since. Obviously, Hello Neighbor would be one. Secret Neighbor, the hide and seek type, game that came off of it. That's a smaller one. Obviously, Friday the 13th, Dead by Daylight, which is great fun. One thing that we've said is like on the Ghost front, Phasmophobia, which obviously I've put literally hundreds of hours into, would be greatly improved by if your character dies. If you could then become a ghost that's actually haunting the area and fuck with your team.
Yes.
Because to a degree, you used to be able to, because you could pick up some items.
Yeah.
And when you're first playing it, like you pick up a cup and just throw it at them down a corridor, and everyone would be like, ah! And it was great. But then after a while, cup gets thrown, and they're like, piss off. And they carry on looking for the ghost because everyone's used to it. And that it ties into what you were saying about, is this all there is? Again, Phasmophobia hit that point. We know the maps. We know them inside, with the exception of they changed stuff, obviously. It's been out a long time. But so you know the maps, you start to get used to it, and that takes away a little bit of the element. But I think where they're definitely onto a winner is you've got the Ghostbusters franchise to play with, which is just one of the most fun film franchises of all time. Like particularly for me, the first two, like the originals, because I'm an '80s kid at heart, and those were the ones I grew up with and watched repeatedly to the point that I think I probably still know both of them off by heart. And you've got all of that to play with that. You get that sort of Phasmophobia creep factor of looking for the ghost, but in a much more fun way, And I think it's just, and like you said, it's multiplayer, so it's just got everything going for it. So if they keep rolling out content to give people more to do in it, I think it's got a lot of longevity behind it, and then it'd be interesting to see what they do with it down the line. But yes, I will pick it up. We will bust ghosts.
Yeah.
Like, I haven't even seen. I don't know if you have, Sarah. Have you seen any reference to the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man yet?
No.
Or anything like that?
That's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, there's none of that yet, so it's got to come.
Not picking it up, unacceptable.
I know, but even there could even be a tie-in with the Ghostbusters Afterlife movie, because that sequel will be coming. If this game is still running for that time, there's got to be marketing tie-ins
absolutely
for that stuff. Skins, ghosts, ghost types, and oh man, the potential absolutely massive for this game. And the fact that they've nailed the tone so far, the aesthetics so far, the feel of the proton packs. One of my builds has a grapple hook, so I can just get up to the different levels of an environment like really fast. There's customization for your character build, and it's so good, so fun. It's been a long time since I've had a multiplayer game which has given me my childhood pure unadulterated joy again. And the fact that it's been done so well and it plays so well and runs so well is just even better, because sometimes there's these things where it's you're running on pure nostalgia and maybe it's not quite technically nailing everything that you want, but this game is just hitting exactly both cylinders of that experience. And
totally agree.
So good.